Hello, this is my pitch for my FMP. It's called Virtual Chains. The concept of the story is a short experimental film that sheds light on subjects such as social media addiction. The story follows a young man who is a social media influencer with many fans. However, little does his audience know that everything he does is a lie. So I covered many themes throughout my FMP, such as anxiety, depression, addiction. It's an experimental film and also is kind of surreal. I wanted the film to shed light on the parts that social media doesn't really speak about, like the dark sides. So that's why I chose those themes. This is the audience profile. It's most likely going to be Gen Z and some younger millennials who predominantly use social media. The supporter personality type, somebody who is interested in mental health or has been struggling with addiction or has known somebody who has struggled with addiction, is open to talking about problems that plague society, so problems like racism and addiction and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why I needed to do that. And most likely my audience are going to be people who like to use social medias such as Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, things like that. Um, People who spend a lot of their free time on social media. This is my target audience. People who mostly use TikTok and Instagram. Gen Z, because TikTok is mostly used by Gen Z, and an 82% of Gen Z social media users are on TikTok. Gen Zs are 13 years old to 28 years old. Sometimes this generation can be called the I generation, homeland generation, or net gen. Net gen because we grew up with the net. So studies show that approximately 94% of Gen Z use social media today. 94%. That's very close to 100. So this is something that will affect hundreds, potentially hundreds of millions of people. So for my first similar production, I had BoJack Horseman, which is a cartoon on Netflix. Um, BoJack's depiction of somebody struggling with an addiction has such a real feeling, and I wanted to try and capture that in my own. Because whilst watching BoJack Horseman, if it's surface level, you can tell um, it's just an interesting story. But if you really look at the characters, like you can tell um, what kind of their thought process is when somebody is addicted to something. And I wanted to try and capture the emotional depth of what it feels like to be somebody who is addicted to something that is not good for you. For a second similar product, I chose Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty, I wanted to do this because whilst Rick and Morty is a sitcom, the main character struggles with an alcohol addiction, and you can see how that affects every single person around him, everyone that he reacts to, everyone he speaks to, everyone he's with in the show. Even the second main character, Morty, you can tell how their relationship will always be strenuous because they're not because he's an alcoholic. My third similar film, similar production was a movie called Beautiful Boy. The emotional depth in this film is nothing short of extraordinary. It's a wonderful film full of family connections and addiction and a heart-wrenching story. I really love the color theory in this film, and I want to have aspects like that in my own. And you'll see later that I did choose some similar things to even these two shots right here. Audience research. I did some research and I found out that my audience will most likely be the DC1 class. Most likely will be in education. It can be all ethnicities, the strugglers, personality type. Most likely are lower middle class, have a history with mental health, and are Gen Z. People who use social media may have a toxic mindset and spend extended periods of time online consuming um, online content. how I plan on getting feedback was showing my videos to friends outside of school, posting it on social media, asking my teachers for feedback, doing surveys and um, posting my rough edit on social media. I got some feedback from that. I did do some surveys that really did help me final out my decisions. Here is how I timed my FMP. This is my schedule. This just helped me keep on track and not lose focus, because whilst doing a lot of different things, you can sometimes get lost and forget, or maybe not do something all the way. So this helped me a lot to manage my thoughts and stay on track on what I was trying to do. This here is just some visual research. I really loved, especially this one here. I thought this picture was extraordinary the first time I saw it. The music that accompanied it, the voice acting, the everything, the story at this point as well. Just, it was really beautiful, and I wanted something similar in my own FMP. Here is another visual research. This movie is called A Silent Voice. It's a wonderful movie about a boy who meets someone and he does some horrible things to her in the past and he tries to get forgiveness for it. It doesn't really fit with the whole addiction thing, but just how the movie feels and looks, I wanted something similar to that because this character's portrayal of sadness and depression and anxiety is really good. Here again, beautiful boy. I really like how this movie looks. The warm colors contrasted with like the cold blues, I think, are very creative, and I really like them. Here is the colors that I personally wanted to use. I did want to use slightly darker colors just to establish a sense of uncomfortableness. So that's why I chose dark reds and grays and blacks. Here's my mood board. This is kind of a rough thing to kind of give you an idea of what I wanted my FMP to look like. So here they are. Here it is. This is the location that I chose to shoot my film. Here is all of the equipment I used. I used 3 separate cameras, not all on the same day, just at different points. Each one was able to shoot in 4K, I believe, so they were all very good cameras. I also had a standard tripod and a lapel mic. I had 2 lapel mics just to pick up some Foley sounds or any dialogue that I wanted in my film. And as for audience profile, it is an experimental film. Having my teachers constantly give me feedback on work and asking them what I could do better or what I should change really helped. Posting my work online and having a deeper understanding of my audience, collecting qualitative and quantitative data by doing questionnaires really helped as well. So thank you.